Welcome to the Stumble Across podcast. This is the podcast where I basically stumble across someone online, invite them for a chat, and usually with me knowing very little about them. So this is completely unprepared, unfiltered, and it can lead to uncovering some of the best stories. In today's episode, I stumble across Scott Lowder, and we talk about everything from being a musician, how to cope when you're on tour with a band, and all the personalities in one small space. We also somehow get into the topic of movies, and the movies that everyone says you should have seen but you haven't. We also discuss his day job being a software tester as well. Please don't forget to give the podcast a rating and subscribe if you like what you hear. So here we are with another episode then. Scott is your name?
Yes, Scott Lowder.
Scott, where are you from?
I am from Charlotte, North Carolina in
Nice.
the United States. So I've lived here for about 15 years, which originally from Pittsburgh, which is further north, like in Pennsylvania. So
For people who aren't watching the video podcast, I see some very nice guitars in the background.
yes, I've been collecting like custom guitars for probably the past like 15, 20 years. I was a musician for a long, long time. I don't do it as much anymore. It's more of like a hobby for me now. But for a while, I was in bands doing solo stuff. Most recently, I just stopped probably like, I don't know, 4 or 5 months ago. I've been working with a lot of newer artists that are just up and coming, like pop artists and stuff that are trying to kind of build their fan base, build their like music catalog. So I was doing a lot of producing for them for the past few months.
That is the one thing, I mean, in my background, you can obviously see the keyboard. That is the one thing I'm jealous of guitar players, because each one seems very personal. Like with the piano, it's just black and white keys.
Yep.
That's all you get.
It is. Well, it's cool though. Like with pianos, I guess that's a more expensive hobby too, because you can always find those old uprights and like the really vintagey, cool looking, I don't even know what they're like, the studio pianos and grand pianos. Like there's so many different types, but that's not an easy collection to have because you gotta have a very large space to put them in.
That is so true. That is so true. And nowadays, see with like, samples with sounds.
Yeah.
You really only need one keyboard and you've got the lot.
That's it. You can make any sound in the world with that.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you though, I'm very jealous of people that are play piano well and play keyboard well. I started learning probably 2 or 3 years ago, and I wish I had learned when I was younger, because now it's like I feel like I would love to play that more than I would guitar. So were you younger when you learned to play piano, or did you learn?
Everyone says that. I was 6 or 7, so it's one of those things where I don't remember learning. It's just always been one of those things that I remember, or that I know of. I just woke up one day and I played piano. Like that was just all I remember. So, but everyone always says they wish they had to start, because definitely I say you're never too old to learn.
Sure.
But there's also a part of that where I think it's much easier to learn if you're very young.
Oh, 100%. That's the one thing that I always wished that I would have when I was a kid, or at least even like 10, 12 years old, when you like more have the ability to make a decision like that. And I wish I would have learned then and really taken the time, because you have more time then. Like, what do you do outside of like, I go to school, I do my homework, and then I'm going to sit and play video games or watch TV or whatever. And exactly. When you get older, there's more responsibility, there's less time. So like now it's like learning piano now for me would be like a 3 to 5 year adventure. Whereas when I was a kid, within a year, I could probably get pretty decent if I spent, even like 20, 30 minutes a day just practicing.
Guitar for you was a very young age?
It kind of was. So I guess we'll get a little personal, but when I was 15, my parents got divorced, and I was really into music. I've always been into music. I swear, my dad always used to joke that he used to play like Elton John to my mom's like stomach whenever I was in the womb. So like, and I don't like, discount that, because I feel like he probably did. Yeah. I'm a huge Elton John fan now, still to this day. But I've always loved music and never really picked up an instrument that stuck with me. I played clarinet in elementary school, which was awful. Then I played French horn, which was even more awful, because it's like a huge giant monstrosity that you have to lug around school all day. So when I turned 15, I was really into like alternative grunge music, and I was into getting into like pop punk music and stuff like that too. So I picked up the guitar, and my mom had a friend that was a player, and so I took lessons from him for a little while and hated that, and ended up putting it down for a year. Didn't touch it at all. And then I went to a Newfound Glory show when I was like 16 years old, and it was one of those like life-changing type things. Like, man, I got to do this. Like, I have to actually like put the time in. And at that point, like, within a week I went home and was just sitting down, just trying to learn songs and figure it out on my own. I'm horrible taking lessons. I'm so bad at it because I'm not good at like people telling me what to do, for one, and secondly, I'm not good at learning stuff I'm not interested in. Like, I didn't care to sit down and learn a lot of theory. I wanted to sit down and like, oh, I want to play this cool new song that's on the radio, so let me learn the chords to that. Yeah, and slowly
that's one of the things
build up the.
I definitely struggle with. You want to sit down, you want to play straight away. You don't want to be learning. When you say about playing in school, one of the big things, certainly in the UK anyway, where we are, recorders are a big thing in school. And they it would almost put you off music for life.
Oh, I can imagine. It sounds awful. It's like having a little penny whistle type thing. Yeah.
You can never make them sound good. You
can't. It makes one sound, but just in different pitches. That's it.
Yeah. That's so true. So in the world of podcasting, right? Do you podcast yourself? Is that right?
I do. Yep. I've been podcasting for probably 3 years now. I have a show called Talking Without Thinking that I do with 3 of my friends. We have, well over 100 episodes. We're calling it our second season. We took a break during the pandemic because we weren't able to get together, and like the guys weren't able to kind of get their own remote setup. So we finally were able to get like a remote setup, and it's been really cool. We've got like 3 episodes out, and the newest season, quote unquote. We're calling it a reboot almost because it's been a couple of years since we've done it. But yeah, I love doing the podcasting thing. I've always enjoyed it. I find it to be like a way to catch up with my friends every week. When you get older, you can do that less and less. So
yeah, you kind of make a point of getting together just for that.
Exactly. So we do kind of we do like a segmented show. It's a little bit different than a lot of podcasts that are they go straight through. We do kind of I call it like a late night talk show for podcasts, in that we have like, we do different segments like top 5 lists. We do stuff like Is It In, and we talk about like latest trends and stuff like that. So I don't know, whatever we think of that week. The last episode we talked about how much people have nostalgia glasses about old movies that really aren't that good, but people think that they're the most amazing thing because they saw them when they were like 7, 8 years old and really impressionable. Yeah.
And you feel bad of saying anything wrong about it.
You do, right? Because you'll be just like looked down upon, and I don't mind that. I'm that guy usually.
See, if anyone says about Star Wars and all the ones that you see you should have watched, that's not me. I gotta be honest, I haven't watched them. I haven't watched a Star Wars. I haven't watched a Lord of the Rings.
Oh,
just all those basic ones, and I'm thinking,
it's just, listen, I will say one thing about Star Wars. I'm gonna leave it at that. I don't like them at all. Right. I haven't liked them. I've seen almost all of them. My girlfriend had me watch like all of them, which is weird because it's usually like the other way around. So I hadn't watched any of the new Star Wars. I saw like the original ones when I was a kid, and they didn't do anything for me. And then the new ones don't do anything for me either. I did see Lord of the Rings though, and I did enjoy that. Those are her favorite movies. Yeah. So it's like, I'm glad I enjoyed them. Otherwise, I'd be in for a long life, of watching them. I agree though. Like all the Star Wars stuff, I don't know what the big. Like,
I just don't get it. I guess you either get it or you don't. I think it was the opening. It made me feel dizzy looking at the words, and I thought, I'm out. Yeah.
Don't spit words at me at the beginning of a movie. No.
No. I know.
I didn't come to read a book, bud. I came to watch a movie.
That's so true. And I mean, in the world of podcasting, I'm very amateur to this. It's always been a kind of idea, and I guess during COVID, during lockdowns, everyone was doing a podcast, and I kind of thought, I don't know, should I jump on the bandwagon or not? And here I am. The last episode, I'm going to be honest, I recorded about half an hour ago. I'm still sitting, I mean, obviously to the video, for people who are watching the video, I'm still sitting in the same hoodie. Big mistake. Amateur mistake, I think. It is. You should have at least taken the hoodie off. If you had a t-shirt underneath, then it would have looked different at least. But continuity. It's like when you spot something on TV, you think, that's not right. There's something not right there. Why is he wearing the same thing again? Yeah. Next, no, now you've revealed all your secrets. I know. That's it. What do you do for a living?
I actually work for a software company.
Right.
And I'm a software quality assurance manager for them. So I basically like test software before it goes out to like the customer base and stuff. So
that must be a lot of pressure.
it is. It is. It gets a little stressful at times, but it's a lot of fun. I've done it for the last like 15 years or so. And it's a great job to have. Like working in software, I feel is a great job to have if you also have like some sort of creative outlet outside of that. Because I feel like working in software, your schedule's a little more lax. Like I can take time off whenever I need to. With the company I work with now, we have like unlimited PTO and stuff too. So it allows me to have like fun things like, I can do a podcast once a week, or I can hop on and do this and that. And when I was doing music stuff, it made it really easy to schedule things because it's like I know what time will be done every day, or I can get off a little bit early if I need to. No, like nobody cares.
I think being a tester would be better than being the person at the very start of the line.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because you're not having to take all of the flack. You're kind of saying, this isn't right. Can you fix this?
Oh, yeah. I get to tell people their stuff's broken. I get to be I kind of get to be the bad guy in a lot of cases to like the developers. But on the flip side, I'm the good guy to everybody else that's going to be using this stuff because we find the stuff that's broken before it gets to them and ruins their experience, So, I mean, there's a lot of companies that don't like the tester side of things because they feel like it's just a waste, have the developers just do it right, blah, blah, blah. But it doesn't have, like, human error happens, until we inevitably get to the point where everything's automated and,
I know. Like, we need that person because, speaking about my iPhone, I have had about 3 updates in the past month. It's like, just get it right. Just get it right the first time.
That's it. Stop messing it up, man.
Yeah, stop messing it up. Yeah. And we'll not go into all the theories about an update that brings, lesser battery life and all of that. We'll not get into all of that, but
yeah.
I don't know. I think there's something there.
It's there. It exists for sure.
So aside from that then, where did music come in? So obviously, are you involved in like recording of projects or albums? Or?
Yes. So for a long time, I just did the band thing, just myself. I was with a couple of bands and almost got signed to a major record label when I was younger.
Wow.
Around like 2021 or so, all like pop punk bands and stuff. It was when that like big pop punk boom was happening, like first time around when like Fall Out Boy and My Chemical Romance,
Blink-182 kind of rest of it.
Blink-182, yeah, exactly. When those bands were huge, every label at that time was looking at pop punk bands that could be the next one of those.
Yeah.
So we were being looked at for a little while by one label. So.
I think I actually seen an advert that Blink-182 are making a comeback. Have they got a new song out, a new single out?
Yeah, they put a new single out, and they're doing like a full-scale tour. They brought Tom DeLonge back, who was their original guitar player. Like,
is he not like 85? He must be really old.
He looks 85, but no, I think they're in their like, they've got to be at least in their like late 50s, early 60s maybe. Well, their bass player just got through with a bout of cancer, and he like beat cancer, so it kind of like brought them all back together again.
Of course, yeah. And what can I ask? What happened with the big break?
Yeah, so the band I was with, they were they were kind of like potheads a little bit and didn't really follow through with a lot of what we were supposed to do, and it kind of ended up going by the wayside. We had our bass player went to college somewhere else, and it was tough to get him in. And then there was kind of like a rift between everybody because there's like the two of us that were like pushing really hard to like they asked us for a few more demos. They liked what we had out so far, wanted to hear what else we could do. And we never got to the point of sending them over to them, and the band ended up like breaking up over all this stuff that was going on. It was the usual stupid turmoil of teenagers being teenagers, and
like being in a band is one of, you don't get that situation anywhere else.
No.
Like those kind of personalities, you will never find all of them clashing in any other place.
Yeah, it's like being in a relationship with like 3 other dudes.
Yeah, that is exactly
it. Yeah,
yeah,
it's just, and everything that comes with it too. Minus the physical part, obviously. But everything else that comes with it, all the fights, all the happy times, bad times, all the having to travel in a van together, like long road trips, like it gets to you, especially like your mental, like it has an effect for sure. I've never done super long tours. We've done a couple of weeks at a time here and there. But yeah, it gets to like just being in a different place every day. You really have to have a good mentality whenever you get into doing that, because it's not for everybody. It's absolutely not.
Yeah. And you say, is there one that you wish that you would have started, instrument wise? Is there something that you wish you had have started off with? Because when you say about, people walking about with tubas and things, that I feel that person would walk in and think, why did I not just play like the trumpet or something like I could put in my pocket, or be a singer? Singers don't do anything. Singers just carry a microphone and they walk in.
Well, I did that later on.
Right.
I did that later on, which was good. So I sang and played guitar for a little while.
Yeah.
Which I enjoy that. That's my favorite thing. But I honestly, like I said, I wish I would have learned piano when I was a kid. That is the one thing. And I feel like learning piano makes it more easily, it translates more easily to any other instrument too, because you've already kind of learned the notes. You've already learned where things lay. You've already learned how to play chords. Picking up a guitar, it's very similar. Like your fingers work in a little bit different of a way, because the chord formations are a little bit different. But at the end, it's the same notes, and you know what those are supposed to be.
Yep.
So I feel like it's easier. Yeah.
Before I go on, what I was going to say, okay, singers don't not do anything. I'll just take that back. I think singers do. Do you think? Yeah, just before I get a hold of it.
Just to qualify that.
Yeah, just to qualify that. Because with guitar, I have tried guitar, and I like you said, I can't take lessons now. I think I'm just past that. But piano, it's all in front of you. You're looking at it. Guitar, you're bending your head around, you're bending your fingers around. It's that. Can't do it. Just can't do it.
Really?
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I don't know why.
Some people pick it up, some don't. I mean, Paul McCartney was like a one-of-a-kind guy that literally could pick up anything. It's like, I feel like he started on piano
I hate people like that.
Yeah, they make me so mad. It's so frustrating. But, I wasn't gifted with that. I didn't have like a whole family full of musicians. I didn't have, anyone really that played any instruments in my life growing up. It was kind of like I had to be the first one and go from there. But yeah, like after the band thing, I opened a small little recording studio, and I was like recording bands, which was a lot of fun. I honestly loved that because you don't have to leave the house for it. It's a lot less stressful.
True.
And I love working with people. I love being able to sit in there and kind of watch their journey kind of from the outside and help to like make their sound better and help to really like hone in what they're looking for and record what they're looking for and work with their songs. And that's the part of the process I've always loved the most is like the producing and the songwriting side.
Yeah. Because it's almost impossible to do both, because I think if you listen to something too many times, you're not going to hear it.
Right. Exactly.
It's just one of those things. Come back the next day and you'll hear something different.
Yeah. And that I love that too, though. Like a lot of times I would be doing like a full scale, and I learned later on that I needed to really kind of push things off to other people to kind of help with the process. But doing everything from the recording to the producing to the mixing and the mastering, like I was doing everything in house with like the first 4 or 5 projects I worked with. And man, it just, your ears just eventually hear things and like, oh, this is the way it's supposed to sound. And someone else hears it like, no, man, you need to fix this, this. So it was a cool learning process too. Like, cause that's, there's so much to learn. I feel like, I've been recording for, I don't know, God, I don't even know how long. 20 years, maybe a little less than that, but I'm still like learning new things, and there's still like cool new technologies coming out that make things easier that used to be really hard.
It's incredible. Like you think, back in the day we have to get a tape out on a tape recorder and have it all perfect in one tape. Like it's just incredible how far things have come since then.
Yeah. Oh, 100%. I did the tape recorder thing for a while. The very first band I had, we recorded on a little 4-track tape recorder.
Yeah.
And it was an experience, man. It didn't sound good, but like it was an experience.
yeah. But then you look at the people who did make it sound good, and you're thinking, how did they manage it? You look at Queen, unbelievable, on the equipment that they had. But
like, how do these big bands do it with like 4 to 8 tracks?
Yeah,
and that's all they had. It was
Yeah.
Makes me feel like I'm a horrible musician.
So obviously this podcast is very random. You were describing your podcast. You've put a lot of effort into each episode. It feels like, whereas I just hit record and just hope that something comes out.
I'm jealous of that, honestly. Yeah, we usually spend probably 2 or 3 hours writing it before we start. And we usually don't do it all at one time. Like we'll talk throughout the week, things we think about, and it's really nice. Like having 3 other guys to kind of bounce ideas off of too is great. You know, they can kind of be like, that sounds kind of dumb. Maybe we shouldn't do that, or maybe we should save this for a later time. So,
because people who podcast by themselves, I just don't know how they do it.
I don't know.
I think you need someone else to get the ideas from, unless you're just a massive talker and you're self-indulged and you can just talk.
And there are people like that are interesting too.
Exactly.
You know, I'm going to be honest though. I don't think I listen to many podcasts where it's just one person talking to themselves the whole time.
Yeah.
It feels disingenuous to me a little bit, just because like I don't know. I feel like podcasting's about conversation like this, where you can, you know, have someone to bounce ideas off of, have a conversation back and forth, and it's more interesting for like someone that's driving in their car to listen to too. So
yeah.
But hey, I love the one person show. Respect, because I couldn't do it.
Exactly, 100%. Now, one of the little things that not are prepared, but one of the things I have recently been bringing in. I posted this thing on Reddit, obviously. So the post was on Reddit. I always say Reddit is a very dangerous place because you know you meet two different types of people. But anyway, the Ask Reddit forum. That is my favorite thing to read. One that I have on the screen right now. What's an example of something that's not your business but bothers you anyway?
Oh man.
Right. And some of the replies on Reddit, they get quite serious. Some people are saying that some people shouldn't have children. Right. And I guess that kind of makes sense. You see people who don't have, you know, maybe shouldn't have, but you shouldn't care. You shouldn't.
I don't disagree with it.
No. But is there something that really bothers you and you think that shouldn't bother you?
I feel like there's a lot of things, because I have a lot of little pet peeves that really do bug me. And
even small things, like if you're in a car and someone doesn't indicate.
A lot of car things do drive me crazy. That's okay. So I came from up north. I don't know how much you know about like the United States, but up north, people drive a lot more. They drive a lot faster, and they're more like, I need to get someplace right now. And when in the South, things move a little bit slower. Like I used to call it the 7-second rule, whereas like a light would turn green and I would literally count to 7 before the cars would start moving, and it would drive me crazy for a long, long time. I've gotten used to that since then, and I think it's gotten a little better too, because a lot of people from up north are moving here because the weather's better, and like there's the job outlook's a little better down here. There's a lot of tech jobs around where I'm at. But so outside of that, I swear to you, my car attracts other cars that just like to ride right up on my bumper. And I don't know what it is, if it's just me or everybody else too, and I'm the only one that like notices. I don't do it to other people. I like to keep like 2 car lengths in between, but man, I always have somebody that I literally, if I stopped, they would just ram right into me.
Yeah. A wee trick that we were told, now I've never used this, just to put that out there. I've never done this, but you put your back fog lights on so it looks like you're braking. Yeah. And they think they're going to go into it, so that will give them a little bit of a...
Oh, yeah, hit the brake check. I used to do that when I was younger. Oh, the brake check indeed. Yeah.
It can go so wrong, though.
It can. That's why I stopped doing it. When I was younger and I'd first started to drive and it would happen to me, I'm not like a super fast driver. I'm not. I'm very cautious. My driving record would say differently, but I've been in quite a few accidents, and most of them aren't my fault, but... I used to brake check people all the time when I was younger, and it was, I don't know what it is, man. People just have somewhere to go so fast.
Exactly. And you see them overtake you, and then say you get to another set of lights, and then they're sitting beside you. They've got nowhere.
Exactly.
And all that.
Yeah. They haven't gotten anywhere faster than you have. So
yeah, exactly.
That's definitely a big thing for me.
Yeah. A lot of kind of children things been mentioned on this thing about parents giving their kids weird names. Have you seen? That's definitely is a thing of 2022, isn't it? Really, because anything is a name now.
Caden, Aiden, all the Dins, and it's really interesting too. A lot of like old fashioned names are starting to come back too. Like Ruby, Sophie, like all those really like early 1900s, 1920s names that were like super popular. Like my grandmother was named Ruby, and I'm starting to see a lot of like little kids named Ruby now, which is nuts to me. And then you got all these like weird, like let's put a bunch of like names together to make one name.
Oh yeah. I mean, but especially us here in Northern Ireland, that is one of the things where you can go, say, half an hour down the road and you'll never have heard of this name before, but there'll be a lot of people called that name. just because, they have joined their mum's name and their dad's name. They've joined it together to make something that doesn't make any sense. The top names in the UK, right, at the minute, boy's name is Noah and girl's name is Olivia.
All right, so I have a confession to make.
Uh-huh.
My son's name is Noah.
Right.
Yeah, but my daughter's is not named Olivia. It's
Okay.
Madeline, but that's another...
I think Noah is respectable enough because I think you get far enough into the baby book. I think it's the Adams, it's the Aarons, the people who at the very start.
It's real weird though. Have you noticed that there aren't as many like Matthews, Michaels, even like Peter, Scott's, like our names are going away. Like they're going to be gone in like 10 years, I feel like.
Yeah. Because there's just some names where also you can't imagine someone younger being called.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, like Arthur or like Elizabeth, or they're very obviously UK names. But I mean, yeah,
that's so true. That's my daughter's middle name is Elizabeth too. So I got that one nailed down. I mean, it was my mom's. It was my mom's middle name, so that's where I got that from. So it came from somewhere. It wasn't just pulled out of the sky.
Yeah. Apparently, number one in USA is Liam for a boy. Liam for a boy and Olivia for a girl. I'm not sure how right that is.
I haven't met any Liams yet. I mean, of the Gallagher brothers, I'd probably pick Noel, to be honest. But
see, I would be a team Liam.
Really?
Yeah, I'd be a team Liam. Now, to be fair, I think Noel is the better singer.
Oh, 100%, and the better.
But I think Liam puts on a better show.
He does.
I went to see him in Dublin. It was 2 years, maybe 2 years, just before COVID, actually. Yeah. But the people who go to a Liam Gallagher concert are insane. They are like flares been lit up in an indoor arena, fighting with each other, and it was insane.
I want to say I'm surprised, but I'm not.
No,
I'm not. No. He attracts that same personality that he has.
Yeah,
is really when it comes down to it. He's just like that badass dude that
Yeah,
he just does whatever.
Where he set the rules, and then at the gig he was like. He stopped the gig several times to tell people off, and you're thinking that is you. That's you throwing TVs outside of hotel windows that have done this to people. Do people on Reddit have a life?
No.
Do you know what I mean?
Their life is Reddit.
Because and I guess one of the rules of Reddit is you don't speak about Reddit outside of Reddit.
That's true. Until you're inside Reddit, you don't know what goes on in Reddit.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
And I can say I didn't really get big into Reddit until maybe a year or two ago. And my favorite subreddit is the Am I the Asshole subreddit is my absolute favorite.
Yeah. And quite often, yes.
Yes. Oh, I would say 90% of the time. Listen, I've always said if you're posting in Am I the Asshole, you probably are.
Yeah.
It's very likely.
My other favorite one is the Photoshop requests where people request weird things to be done to their photos.
Oh, that's a good one too. Yeah.
Now, some of them are genuine. Some of them are, can you remove this person from my photo? But then other people are like, can you Photoshop my cat into this spaceship that I've done? Some of them are brilliant. Like some of them are really, really good. While we wrap up, then, what is your podcast? Tell us.
So it's Talking Without Thinking. We put out new episodes every Monday. So we're like a weekly podcast. You can find us at on all the socials at TWTPcast, and we're on YouTube as well. YouTube.com/@talkingwithoutThinking. I love that YouTube did those new handles now. It's so nice.
Oh, brilliant. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's so good. So
instead
you can find us on all those.
TVW2XP
4-6 plus sign. Yeah. It's awesome. Well, so I'm glad they went that direction.
Well, thanks so much for taking the plunge and just being my random guest for today.
Yeah, absolutely. Had a lot of fun. It was great talking to you.
Thanks for listening to the podcast, available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon, and all other podcast platforms. You obviously know that because you're listening. Don't forget to subscribe for weekly updates, and please do leave a review and a rating. All the links are in the description. Until next time.